Hello, my name is Maureen Redbond. I'm married to David Redbond, who is the Senior Minister of the Estuary Church Group. I've been asked to contribute to their Thought for the Day programme that's been running since lockdown began. Those of you who know me will not be at all surprised to hear that I've decided to talk about the cello. For two very good reasons. The first is I love talking about the cello, and will take every opportunity to do so. If you want to see my face light up, just ask me to tell you about the cello, but be prepared to be there for a long time. The second reason is that I have learnt so much from it over the last 10 years. As a result, I have used it to illustrate all kinds of things in short articles and in various talks. So when you see that it's my turn to do the thought for the day, expect it to be in some way related to the cello. Today I'm going to go back to the beginning and tell you how I came to start this journey. A couple in our church, Terry and Jan Stevens, were very good friends of ours and both very active in the church, but they were both, within a very short space of time, diagnosed with cancer. It was a shock to everyone. Jan, so vibrant and active, still in her 50s, Terry, so talented musically, lovely people. We walked with them through that dreadful time of tests and treatment, hope and despair. Of course, we and many others prayed for their healing, but for whatever reason that only God knows, that didn't happen, and sadly, first Jan and then Terry both died. It was a tragedy. But shortly before his death, Terry said he wanted me to have his cello. I was very unsure about it, as I'd never played a stringed instrument, although I had musical knowledge generally, and I was approaching my 60th birthday. But I agreed to have it and have a couple of lessons to see how I got on. Terry died late in 2009, and I first took the cello out of its case in January 2010. I found a cello teacher and had my first lesson. I remember thinking halfway through the lesson, I don't think I can do this, and nearly said so and gave up. I'm so glad I didn't. By the time I had my second lesson, I was hooked, and the rest is history. I very quickly fell in love with the instrument and developed a passion that has continued unabated for over 10 years. It has given me enormous pleasure, introduced me to numerous people I would never otherwise have met, many of whom are now good friends. As I improved, I became a member of Simply Strings, a small string ensemble, which gives pleasure to many people through the concerts that we have twice a year. Then David and I started going to concerts to see how the cello should be played, and found we actually enjoyed it. And that's something we would not have thought of doing in pre-cello days. As some may know, I used to sing a lot, which was a major means of worship for me, but in recent years my voice has deteriorated badly. But I now have a new way of worshipping, as the cello has become my voice. And this year, as lockdown has given us extra time to fill, I've had something to do to occupy my time. The more I think about it, the more benefits I find from the fact that I now play cello. So what does all this have to do with any of you? Are there general lessons here? I think so. The first is, God brings good out of bad. I still don't understand why Terry and Jan were taken from us when they still had so much to give, but out of that tragedy, I gained all that I've been talking about here. Don't get me wrong, I do not believe that God causes tragedies to occur just so he can bring something good out of it. But I do believe that when bad things happen, which they do to both good and bad people, Christians and non-Christians alike, he can use those situations to bring blessing. I know of many people who can look back on dreadful times in their lives and see that some of the joys they now experienced would not have happened if they had not gone through those dark times. The Bible says a lot about sorrow being turned into joy. Psalm 30 verse 11 is translated in the Good News translation like this: You have changed my sadness into a joyful dance. You have taken my sorrow and surrounded me with joy. And now, when the COVID situation is so dire and there's so much loss and heartache, God has brought about things that would not have happened without it. Just one example is the number of people who have felt able to connect with church when it was forced to go online. This is happening not just in our church but across the board, as people who were perhaps interested but would never have ventured into a church building are tuning in to Christian activities. Then secondly, age is just a number. It is never too late to try something new. I soon discovered, when I started going on courses, that I was not alone in taking up the cello late in life. Many others have done the same, some older than I was. I now actively encourage other older people to think about branching out into something new. A lady I met on a walk was approaching retirement and told me she used to play the piano a bit as a child and always wanted to take it up again. I encouraged her to do something about it, not expecting that she would do so. She bought a piano, started having lessons, and last year passed grade 1 with distinction. In these days when retirement can last many years, it's worth looking for new things to do. And remember, many of the great heroes in the Bible achieved their greatest triumphs in old age. And thirdly, don't just think about it, do it. We can always find good reasons why we won't go ahead and try something new. You may be watching this, and perhaps you've been thinking for a while about exploring Christianity. Maybe the thought of going to church has deterred you. Well, now is the perfect opportunity. Many churches, including our own, are now running online alpha courses to enable people to ask the questions that they need answered as they explore the subject before deciding that Christianity is for them. Go on, do it. Our details are on the website if you choose to join our course. But whatever it is that you're feeling you want to get involved in, music, art, dancing, or some other activity, do your homework, find out how to go about it. Then take the plunge. You never know. You could find an interest that is as exciting for you as the cello has been for me. God bless you.